Okay. You know what? Some of you were right. I let the rest of you off the hook too easy there. Welcome to the Friday Guest of Honor panel. Thank you. So we're going to bring the guests out in a second here. Are you guys having a good time so far? I know that just got started. Everybody get a chance to go by the vendor hall and the comic store.
Yeah, I'm actually broke now.
We're just finishing up a few adjustments for this panel. So here's what's going to be happening. Who saw last week's episode? So what we're going to do is we're going to do sort of like a director's commentary spin on that. So we're going to watch that again. Because so many of our guests were on that episode. We thought it might be fun to let them kind of talk about it, kind of re-experiencing it along with you guys. The episode screening tomorrow will still be the new episode, so this is not instead of that or anything. But yeah, so why don't we go ahead and start bringing out some of our guests. Please welcome back to the main stage, Ingrid Nilson. Caitlyn Bairstow. Hanlin. Sheridan. Andrea Libman. And Anime Milwaukee.
Hi, everybody.
I think we'll probably drop the music, guys.
Party time.
I know, it's kind of a good groove. I kind of like it.
Drop the beat.
But cool. Okay, so one of the interesting things I've come to learn about just sort of the production process is just how long ago did you record this episode? Do you recall?
Like a year.
It's been about a year. So there's that much of a lead time from when they recorded. So just because you guys know the way life goes and everything, I don't think anybody has actually seen it yet up here. Like the finished product, like, of course they were there when they read the lines, but as far as like actually seeing the final thing put together, this is actually going to be a first for them. So, but while we're watching it, I'm going to have the ability to pause if you guys have anything you want to say, any commentary, any funny stories that you remember about the recording sessions. Those of you that weren't on the episode, Kelly, Mitch, if you have any questions that you want to pose, any lines you want to throw in.
We'll have questions. Good thing we're not sitting next to each other.
So I think we're just in the final stages of getting things hooked up here. How's your time in Chicago been so far?
It's
Nice and cloudy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, welcome to Chicago. So actually, why don't we do this first, just in case anybody's unclear. Why don't we go down the line? Everybody can say who they are on the show and what they do. So Ingrid.
I move.
I have two voices. Yay. For Mod, Limestone, and Marble.
I voice Blue Bobbin, who's a little fashion pony. Yeah, this guy knows it!
I'm Ian, and I'm Sunburst on.
I'm Kelly, and I play Starlight Glimmer and Sassy Saddles. I'm Andrea, and I play Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy.
I'm Mitch. I don't even work on this show.
Someone remind me why he's here again. I'm kidding.
For decoration.
Bookend.
Mitch and I are the beard bookends on the table right now. So I think we're just about.
What are we watching? What show?
Gen 1. Gen 3.2. Yeah, I remember one.
Okay, so while tell you what, we're going to flip the format a little bit. While they're working out some technical difficulties, why don't we were going to do Q&A at the end. Why don't we do that first, just to kind of keep the ball moving here. So we're going to start the Q&A session. So if anybody has any questions that they want to ask some of our guests, children first, please. But if you have anything, we can form a short line up here. Maybe why don't we keep it about 10 or so long, and we'll kind of get some questions out of the way. Some of the burning questions you guys have had. A couple things just to keep in mind. Nobody up here is allowed to talk about anything that has not aired. So including tomorrow's episode. So any questions that you ask about next season, just anything like that, any of the rest of the episodes this season, they simply won't be able to answer. Just kind of keep that in mind. Hello.
Hi. I'd like to ask how you get started in voice acting.
Is there any particular person you'd like to ask?
I'll feel this one.
Just all of you, like how you got started in voice acting.
Well, Kelly and I were actually discussing this the other day, that we are the worst people to ask because we were just we grew up doing it.
We were kids.
Yeah, we were kids. For me, I went to an audition in the paper that my mom took me to, and I didn't get the part, but they said, you can go meet with an agent, we'll let them know that you're coming. And so I got an agent, and then the agent sent me out to tons and tons of auditions, and that's kind of how it started for me.
Is that our advice? Be a precocious kid. If you're not, that's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd say just practicing without even really realizing that you're practicing. I sort of I just kind of fell into it, and looking back, it sort of all made sense. When South Park came out, I was young, and I was the only kid in school who was allowed to watch it. So I would show up on the Monday and do the episode for everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And looking back now, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, so it does kind of all make sense. So yeah, just finding any sort of opportunities you can, even just, even fooling around with it, you never know down the line when it's going to actually end up sort of being useful.
Where were you when you performed? Because I'm just picturing you, for some reason, up on a tree stump, pedestal. I don't know why. With all the kids gathered around.
No, we were on the side of the
That's
school
just
where the
neat,
teachers would smoke at night.
Oh, that's appropriate for some.
It was good, yeah. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, I'd say just any opportunity you can find to, just fool around with new noises and new sounds, and coming to stuff like this is definitely the right direction too. So.
The acting part of voice acting is probably the most important, so community theater is super helpful. I mean, everybody finds their way into it in different ways, but the more, I think, trained you are, the better chance you have of getting work when opportunities do arise. So do community theater, take improv classes, practice your accents, read out loud. Those are all things you can do to kind of train yourself to be a better actor.
All right, thanks for the question. Hello.
That mic is too tall.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
How many more seasons are you gonna have?
It's going on forever.
Through the magic of fan-created content, it probably will go on forever. So. But thanks. Hello.
What was it like for you when you started out voice acting?
Scary.
What was it like?
It's definitely very spooky to kind of be that new person in the room, especially when the room is filled with amazing veterans like Kelly and Andrea.
He paid her to say that. Good job.
I was really lucky because my episode of My Little Pony was one of my very first jobs. And I got to be in a room with people who were willing to teach and be really very generous with me. But it's definitely nerve-wracking, but it's crazy fun.
Everybody's very, very nice. I have yet to meet one mean voice actor. There's time, I guess.
Just
There's
kidding.
one right here.
I'm nice. I have a secret list. I used to bring something into the room with me to make me feel calmer because I was so nervous all the time. So I would bring like a flower, and then when I was scared, I'd be like, hold the flower.
I I totally agree. I would wear the exact same headband to every single session, like it was like a good luck charm.
Yeah, I have a sweater that I wear.
Really? Those are so cute. I didn't mean it in a condescending way.
She's mean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like your Applejack.
Hello?
I think this was easier to put down than it is to bring back up. Anyway, hi! First of all, I want to say I really loved all of your characters, especially in the last couple of seasons, with Starlight and Sunburst coming on so strong. I love both of them. Blue Bobbin is adorable. Everything and that lesson that Limestone Pie taught the other week was beautiful. And Fluttershy lately has been so amazing.
Oh.
But my question's for Mitch.
Because I was about to leave, so.
Well, I feel like it's my responsibility to grow
Thank you.
after I see you. But, no, okay, so I've always been kind of curious because one of the things, especially when you have a fandom like us, while we are loving, we also, we know what is and what isn't canon. So, how much does that factor into your writing process of the going back and looking for continuity and that reality of when I put this on paper, it becomes canon and everybody's going to judge that?
I don't think about that too much.
That explains, no.
It's there's such a disconnect between when the script is written or when they do what they do and when it actually airs that a year has passed. So any kind of those concerns, it's already in the distant past, you know. Yeah, I don't really think about that too much. And that's not how it works, or it worked in the early days. The fans would just find these little seams in the show and create their own things out of that, right? Can't create background characters into real characters. It wasn't anything I did, or the other writers. It was just you guys finding those things, so.
Thank you, and thank you guys all for coming.
AV, just give me a signal when you guys are ready. Just
Hi.
Hi, this question is for Ingrid Nilson.
I like your rock, boulder rock.
It's a geode.
Color.
I'm gonna have you sign that in about an hour. I just couldn't put it in my pockets. I wanted to ask you actually if you, like Maud, also like gems and minerals.
It's funny you should ask, as I did in my bag. I showed them to Little Spike earlier, but I do carry. I have like a whole like precious stone collection. So right here, I have an amethyst mounted on a kyanite.
My name is Amethyst.
Yay! Oh my goodness! It was meant to be. And right here, I have. It's kind of smoky, but it's a rose quartz. So yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm actually obsessed.
You are now my favorite pony.
What's your name?
Amethyst Rose.
Amethyst Rose, you rock.
Hello. My question is for Andrea, and this is from a question from a friend who couldn't be here at the convention because she likes you as her favorite pony. She was wondering what's your favorite episode to work on?
I don't know. Maybe it's this one. Maybe if I had seen it, I would know. No, they're all good. You know what? I think the more characters in it, the larger the cast, the more fun it is to work on because it's just great energy in the room and lots of amazing, talented, and funny people. So that's my favorite. The bigger cast, the better. I don't know. What's the biggest cast episode? 100? That one was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So, I'm Larson. With Faith and Misfortune, I wanted to ask how often did you ever get those things, get any of those critiques right into your face? And
like right now.
I'm about to do it some other way.
And how often did, and how many more things did you want to include that you didn't get to?
The short answer is I wanted to include an entirely different episode. I had a very different ending in mind, different beginning in mind, different middle. It was overruled on every stage. I've had a few of those directly said to me. Yeah, it's almost funny, especially if it's an episode I didn't write. Then I just agree with them. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Hi. My question is for all of you. I know, Andrea, your characters were the only ones who appeared in the movie, but any of you can answer this. What's your favorite song from the movie?
Yeah, the Emily one. The villain songs are always
Open up your eyes.
Yeah, they're always fun. What's the one they sing on the ship? That one's great too. Yeah.
I think mine is Rainbow. It's just so beautiful. And Sia did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
Did you get to meet her?
No. I know. Maybe you did and you didn't even know. Ooh. Can't tell what she looks like under all that hair. She would have just been like,
She's here right
lady
now.
walking.
She's on this
Go with
stage.
that. Kelly's like, I'm Sia.
Ingrid, do you have a favorite song from the movie?
It's a little early to say. I have to narrow it down.
Okay. Thank you.
Andrea, the question I have is, in your many trips to Disneyland, how would Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie react to being on the Haunted Mansion?
Ooh, pretty. Scared.
Kind of a tough question for all you to answer, but what would you say is the biggest difference when you compare the first few seasons to the last few seasons, so like all of the episodes?
I'm in it now.
Mitch is gone.
The writing is seriously declined.
Hello. This one's for Kelly. What was it like to voice Starlight?
Oh, it's fantastic. Wow, that's such a big, I don't know, how do I answer that? She's amazing. I love Starlight. It's awesome to have played a character that has grown so much and has all of these quirks and quibbles and contradictory. And it's the best. It's the best.
Great, thank you.
Hello, I have a two-part question for Ingrid. The first is Maud's personality something that was pre-prescribed to you, or were you able to take some creative liberties with that?
Ooh, well, I feel like Maud is my inner voice. When I'm watching the world, I'm like, oh, okay. And then my outer personality is more like Pinkie Pie. But when I received the character description, I think it was like something like flat or monotone, but she's not actually, but she still feels things. Something like that. It's a long time ago since I got the character breakdown, but yeah, something like that.
My second question was, which one did you relate more to? But you kind of answered it. You relate to both?
Yeah. Oh, Pinkie Pie or Maud?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a bit of both. Yeah.
Any of the other characters would you say are like you?
Which ones?
Marble or any of the other ones?
Oh, I mean, sometimes I feel shy, sure. And then I also relate to Fluttershy. I like animals. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On Twitter, I know if you two go on how you tell your joke, you can eat
How about chocolate? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. No, we're actually on the same team.
Yeah, we are.
How do you want up each other in the dark and the dark?
What did it say at the end? What was the last part?
In the darkest of the dark.
The darkest of the dark. I bet was it 99%?
That's what you said.
I had the 99%. What do you have there?
These two for you.
72 and an 86.
Oh, that's pretty high.
We had a little Twitter competition about like who would eat the highest percentage dark chocolate. I had 99 and it was vile. And I loved that.
I wonder what Pinkie Pie would do if she ate the darkest one.
Oh.
Can you say it in Pinkie's voice?
I ate all chocolate! It's gone!
What was your ceiling? You had a percentage you could go above.
I have 88%,
88.
and that's... sometimes it's a little...
Bit much.
Yeah.
But then there's people like Josh Haber who like milk chocolate. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
enjoy your life.
All right, I have a question for Ingrid and Andrea. I was wondering if Ingrid, if you could portray Pinkie Pie, and if Andrea, you could portray Maud.
Rocks!
I just love party planning!
Hey guys, I have a request for Kelly. So, fans have pointed that Starlight and Twilight share similar voice attributes. So I was wondering if you could say the classic lines, "Dear Princess Celestia" as Twilight Sparkle.
Oh my goodness. No one is Tara Strong, so I'll give it my best shot, but... Dear Princess Twilight.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? Okay, this is for Ingrid. Are you familiar with the character Daria? Because she acts very similar to my Pie, and I was wondering if you ever grew up watching that show or not.
Actually, yes, and I love plaid skirts.
I also always wanted to portray this.
Aww, thank you. That's so sweet.
You'll be signing soon.
This is for Ingrid. And I gotta say, it was so cool seeing Limestone back. I'm just curious on how you did the voice of Limestone, and yeah, up to you if you can hear a little bit.
I'll be honest, it's not the easiest voice. For a long time I had to drink lots of tea with lemon after.
So how'd you come up with Limestone?
I think she was just supposed to be really mean. So yeah, that's another side of me, I guess.
You're not jealous.
No, I'm not jealous at all. What are you talking about?
I'm looking forward to a career of cartooning and voice acting, but I wanted to talk about, story writing, M.A. Larson, the backcoat pony fella. Do you have any advice on writing a good story for a cartoon?
My favorite thing to do is try to surprise yourself when you're writing. Particularly cartoons, a lot of stories are very samey, right? You see the same episode on this show and the show and the show. So if you can actually surprise yourself while you're writing, then you will surprise whoever's going to read it too.
I have a pretty crazy mind. It's hard to surprise myself.
It is really hard because it's your own brain putting the words out, but sometimes it happens. Like the line that Andrea did where she says, "And that's how Equestria was made." I wrote that and I was like, whoa, that's funny. I didn't expect to write that.
Good job.
Yeah.
So basically improvise and see what happens.
Improvise in your own head while you're typing, yeah.
Thanks. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
I also do what I think you guys probably do, and I didn't even realize it until I was at Starbucks, but I act while I'm typing. Like I'll do the faces and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing that.
All right.
You know what I like. Whatever the emotion is, I'm like.
This one's for Kelly Sheridan and Andrea Libman, by the way. Kelly Sheridan, you and I met at Pony Con 2017.
Oh, we did?
Yeah!
Nice to see you again.
My question is for both of you. Now, both of you, before my Little Pony, for those who didn't know, you were on another girly cartoon that I personally like called Care Bears. And you play the roles of Harmony Bear and Surprise Bear, was that right?
That's right.
So for those who are wondering, tell us what that was like.
Harmony Bear was the worst bear.
No. You were on the piano. I remember like in your childhood you used to be on the piano, you loved singing.
Well, that's the thing, because all she did was sing, every single line, but there was no music. So I would just have to show up and make up tunes for every, like, she would never talk like this. She'd go, I'm talking right now and I'm harmony bear. And they'd be like, oh no, could the tune be a little bit more uplifting? That's my tune. So it's really difficult. I shouldn't have put down Harmony Bear. She's awesome, but it was very difficult bear.
Yeah, I love you too, Harmony Bear.
Surprise Bear just basically popped out of things and yelled, surprise! Like, that's all I did. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Hi, this one's for Kelly. It's for Starlight. What was the original character description, if you remember, that they gave you to go off of?
You probably know the answer to this because you look sneaky. The original character description was, and you probably wrote it, was a cross between Jim Jones and Dolores Umbridge. For those of you who don't know, Jim Jones was the drink the Kool-Aid cult leader.
She nailed it too, right? You can hear she nailed it. Little Dolores Umbridge, you know.
Some evil underneath, a lacquer of phony niceness.
I also just want to say thank you all for coming out.
So my question is for Ingrid. So, if anything, if there's anything that could ever make Mod Pie snap and just yell at whoever, what would that be?
If you dress Boulder in a bunny suit.
Will do.
All right, I had a question for Ian and Caitlyn with our first convention. How did you find out about the fandom? What made you want to come to one of the conventions?
So I'm a huge cartoon nerd. So I had actually seen the first 4 seasons of My Little Pony before I even started auditioning for it as a voice actor. So when I got on the show, I was really excited. And as I kind of knew what the Brony community was, because I've always gone to conventions as like an attendee since I was like a child, because I was a huge weeb in my teen years. And I thought it was amazing that so many people, like a fan base that they weren't expecting, could come forward with this wonderful show that was so well done, and it was just overwhelming, really. It was wonderful.
For me, the first episode I actually did was an episode called The Hooffields and the McColts, where I was like a guard. I think I was McColt guard number 2. And,
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. And I had just started sort of doing this, and I told some friends of mine we'd like gone away for the weekend, and I mentioned to them, I said, you know, I got a job doing an episode of My Little Pony. And one of the guys at the table went, you're doing an episode in season 5? And everyone at the table went, huh? And so like I had known there was this big sort of fan community around the show, and then sort of you realize how close it is to you. So seeing that connection and seeing how sort of far-reaching it was, I had to come. This is just too cool, right? Like, yeah.
Is anybody here cosplaying as Hooffield guard number 2?
Tomorrow.
My question is for Andrea Libman. In terms of episodes where Pinkie Pie or Fluttershy had the main role, which episode would you say you had the most fun working on as either one of them?
They're all pretty fun.
I agree with that too.
What's your favorite?
My personal favorite is what's it called? Keep Calm and Flutter On, because that established Fluttershy and Discord bond. So that's one of the things I really appreciated out of it and enjoyed about it.
Nice. I really like Party of One.
I really like Pinkie Pie.
Oh, that's a good one too. Thank you.
Yeah, they're all great.
I didn't write any of those, guys.
100th episode?
My question is for Kelly. What was it like for your character of Starlight Glimmer to transform from kind of a villain to a good pony?
Good.
I gotta admit, like when your character first started, I didn't really like it because it was so mean. But the transformation from then to now is like total 180.
Yeah, that's fair. She was not nice.
But what was it like for you to transition to that?
Oh, it's super fun as an actor to play a character that changes and goes somewhere. Like, that's all an actor ever wants. It's not terribly exciting to play a character that just sort of keeps making the same mistakes over and over again, or never learns anything. So I think it was really exciting what they decided to do with her. And her, she didn't have this, she had this aha moment at the end of season 5, but then it wasn't like smooth sailing from there. I figured it all out. Then we got to see her struggle and make mistakes and fail and learn, and now she's helping other ponies and creatures. So I think it's fun. It's really fun.
You've provided a lot of drop jaw moves.
I like though she still has her little bit of Starlight snark in there. There's still, that core character where she tells it like it is, which is super fun.
This time I got one for Andrea. Since I know you said in previous cons, like you saying fun over and over as Pinkie Pie was hard, would you say it was harder when you had to say, while crying, I'm the real Fluttershy from To Where and Back Again, over and over and over again? It's a finale.
I don't remember that being.
Oh.
Doesn't stick out like fun did. Fun was just unrelenting.
So I guess that answers my question.
Yeah. I have a bad memory. Hi.
For Andrea and for Ingrid, if your character's pets could talk, how do you think they would talk to you? Like, how do you think their characters would be? If your character's pets could talk.
Didn't Gummy?
You did talk about
Gummy talked. Well, Gummy thought.
Did he end up? He did like 10 different versions of that. That stuck.
In the script, Gummy had a French accent.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, it was really good.
What's his name?
Didn't it being like a Stephen Wright kind of thing? Didn't it? Ended up being sort of a Stephen Wright dry kind of deal.
This is what Boulder would say.
Rock on.
Thank you.
This question's for Larson. When you got the job for My Little Pony, were there any other offers on the table?
You kind of take every job, basically. So I was already working on a show at Disney Channel. I asked Lauren if I could be on the show. It wasn't an offer to me. It was like demanded. Hire me, please. And then I got another job on another show at the exact same time called Symbiotic Titan. I started both those at the same time. And I was convinced that was going to be the massive show that I was going to go to conventions for. So I used my pen name on My Little Pony. And now, here we are.
Thank you.
So I have a question for Caitlyn and Ian. So when you were talking to some of your coworkers and people that have been to these cons before, were there any pieces of advice that they gave you about just your first Pony Con? Or also possibly, is there any advice that you wish they had given you?
We definitely got the Purell advice.
Yeah.
A lot of people means a lot of germs, means you'll probably come home sick. So just wash up a lot.
Yes. And don't be offended if you just Just do the bump instead of a full-on handshake.
Fist bumps are love.
I got the, don't forget, they don't have to wake up early, but you do. That advice was given to me, which I will attempt to take to heart, but we'll see what happens.
And then on the flip side, for everybody else, is there any advice you think that they should have that they may not have gotten yet about just the PonyCon experience?
Drink giant water bottles. I get dehydrated because I talk a lot at these things, and I talk louder than I usually do.
You're already pros. You guys, you already get it.
All right, so do you guys have any advice? If you can think of, just put your hand up if you can think of any advice for anybody, whether Ian or Caitlyn or anybody, if you think that there's somebody they should definitely do or not do, or just anything like that about being in Chicago, perhaps, or about PonyCon, something like that. What do you think is something that they should do while they're here, whether at the convention or in the area? I think the first hand was right there.
Don't forget to eat.
Yes. I need to remember that one myself.
Don't
That's a good
into
one.
your schedule.
Good? Okay.
Being good.
Okay, everybody just say your advice. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Go to the concert!
Deep dish,
Don't talk at the same time as everyone else.
I got all that.
You guys got all that? Absolutely. Okay, I think we are ready. So, everybody question please.
But I hear Fluttershy is free.
It doesn't matter who else I asked, because I couldn't be happier that you agreed to help.
New credits,
So yeah, we'll try to fit in a little comments in the commercial break. So was that your guys' first time seeing the new opening?
Oh,
I love
I haven't seen the opening since season 4.
So, this is the first episode that this was on. So yeah. Anybody have any comments that you want to throw out real quick? I want to just keep it going.
Caitlyn singing the theme song made my head explode with cuteness.
So you guys are like teachers now?
not super skilled, but I enjoy it. And that was just cringy. Yeah.
Also, considering that Rarity would go to Rainbow Dash first is the strangest thing. I'm pretty sure in the last episode they were at Rarity for You, she didn't even know what the fabric was.
That's true. But at least she wouldn't do what's above the mountain.
I think I forgot how big this shop was. How do you find anything? Oh, darling, it's easy to track. The store is divided into sections. Chic, classic, modern, sophisticated, avant-garde, traditional, and opportunist. And of course, each section is divided by seeds and color and price. It's a classic SCP. Then it's just as Reagan ponies up. And fluff and fold. Voila! But of course, that's the easy part. It is? As you well know, the real focus and Rarity for You is on the customer. Care to give it a try? Okay. Hello. Welcome to Rarity for You. What can I help you with?
I need something classic but modern, something with drama but also understated.
Aren't all those things opposites?
That's Marie.
Yes, oh Marie too.
But how can I?
I'm sorry, are you asking me how to do your job?
No, but I just,
Anyway,
I'm thinking noir-esque minimalist, but with a twist. Perhaps a tapered hem.
Secret, my mother? Are you a fashion psychic?
Sensei, yes.
I do remember. And the boat cracked up when Marie did that laugh.
Wow, you make it look so easy.
Oh, darling, come now. You've conquered your shyness 1,000 times over. You can't let a few fashion ponies undo all that progress.
I guess not.
You simply must access your inner strength and allow it to shine through.
How?
Daily affirmations? Meditation? Oh, power posing works wonders whenever I feel intimidated. Try these. Confident warrior. Gold medalist. Love pony. We need to leave now if we're going to catch the train to Canterbury. I'm right behind you.
You're not gonna be here? In your workroom?
But darling, I simply can't. The fashion show is in Canterbury tomorrow, and I'll be up all night, even with the help of all of my assistants. Well, not all my assistants.
Smokey Jr.
Ever since you convinced me to let them live in the shop, these beastie sweeties have been nothing but helpful.
And I'm sure they'll help me let my inner strength shine through.
Oh, I wish I could stay and offer more help. Why not try a new outfit?
Think of it as a costume for your role as
Show pony. You know what they say, clothes make the pony.
Who says that?
All right, I'm sure you and your furry friends will do just fine. Ta-ta!
I hope she's right. Whew, here goes nothing. Welcome to Rarity for You. What can I help you with?
What's the thread count of this shirt? I can't be seen in anything less than 1,000.
I've no idea who that is. And no, I don't look like Dr. Drew.
Excuse me for just 1 second. Oh, I'm afraid I don't know enough about fashion to satisfy these customers. What am I gonna do? Severe, but not unapproachable. Acceptable business attire. Oh, does that sound like a shop pony to you? So sorry for the wait. The shop has some staffing issues today.
Yes, well, I still haven't had an answer on this thread count.
Here at Rarity for You, our merchandise defies typical attempts to quantify its quality, but rest assured it will make you the envy of all who see it.
In that case, I'll take 3.
You gotta buy it when you find it, you know?
Do you have the exact same?
No, Junior, I can't believe it worked.
I should have worn that outfit today.
I suppose you do make the pony after all.
And little did they know how things were about to go very wrong. So I just, one of the things that catches me on there is just Fluttershy's moment where she just has that like exhaustion and then it falls over backwards. That's a lot like being a con chair, I can actually. But yeah.
It gave me that real sense of retail anxiety.
And that's the other thing, yeah. Everybody who's worked retail, it is not that easy. This show is lying. You cannot make sense. And, oh yeah, and you said, Dr. Drew, I got a Tim Gunn vibe off of him.
Oh yeah? Yeah, definitely.
I don't know about you, but I have a full day of shopping planned. And if even one shop pony isn't up to my standards, well, I shall make my displeasure quite plain.
Oh, you are wicked. That's what fashion show I know. I simply can't leave Fluttershy to fend for herself with these fake nuts. Who done it?
The number of people that Rarity has hip-checked in this episode is actually really high. You notice that?
It'd be a new drinking game.
Potential emergency at the boutique.
Well, whatever it is, I'm quite certain the pony you left in charge can handle it. Oh, she's simply divine.
I always knew Fluttershy had it in her. And there's still time for It's a unique play on the old stem. We call it a rarity cup with a triple cross stitch hem and a guacamole chevron pattern fabric. Don't you mean chevron? If I had met Chevron, then that's what I would have said. Of course, it's so unique, so in vogue. It must be mine. Aw, thanks everyone. But I feel like I should push the snootiness further. I suppose some tea would be nice. Oh, if you don't mind.
I like my accessories bold and shiny, and I'm just not seeing anything really bold and shiny enough.
I'm afraid bold and shiny won't work with your whole model. Perhaps pointy.
Pointy? Yes! I must have pointing!
Found object, but you nearly get there.
I like a red carpet blitzing glamour gown that's also casual, but like still artsy and a total head turner.
Yes, casual chic pret-a-porter is very branché this season.
Like I don't understand any
Who is
of
that, you guys?
So like
That is also Marie, I believe.
Oh, I think I need a new character. Okay, I've got like this hiking style. It's a totally mauve ensemble with a little like use that sparkle and make the whole squad go, whoa, my pony is woke.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate? And to whoever wrote those lines.
Whoever animated the mouth.
That's
I like this version of her personality. It was fun to do because our voice director, Terry, hates upspeak. So that's up at the end of your sentence. He always goes, finish your sentence, period. Right, you guys? All the time. So it was so fun to just do it again, and again, and again, and I just stared at him the whole time.
And again.
Okay, I've got like this high-key savage look for you. It's a totally live ensemble with the little like use that sparkle and make the whole squad go, whoa, your pony is woke.
It's like exactly what I need.
This store is a desperate wasteland of nothingness. Do you have anything in black? I always wanted to do like a Stephen Wright kind of thing. I always wanted to do kind of like a Stephen Wright. And I finally got my opportunity. But there was more leather than I expected.
It's not like the futility of shopping can be made better with black leather and metal studs, but they help.
That jacket completes me.
If tea's like lukewarm, it's barely drinkable.
This tea must always be at a precise temperature. See that it doesn't happen again. Whoa, that color is like almost too lit for you. The blackness of this vest is a reflection of your soul. This headline is nothing short of an inspiration of craft ponyship. Are you sure you deserve it? Yikes. Get it right or go back to the forest!
Was that screams like? Did somebody do that? Record it? Was that like?
Yeah, she did it. Yeah, she did.
It's so hard to find good help these days.
Okay, slow down everyone. I'm doing my best. So, Rarity is busy at an important fashion show, and Fluttershy is running her shop in Manhattan. But to do it, she's playing different shop pony characters that are all mean.
Okay, what the heck? Spike is in the wrong profession. If he's able to figure it out from that, he is missing his potential.
How in the world did you figure that out, Spike?
I'm not a graduate champion for nothing.
I can't imagine Fluttershy would ever be mean to her animal friends. This sounds serious. Spike, tell everyone it's time to head back to Saddle Row. I wouldn't think it was possible to make something so dowdy even more matronly, but here you are. It's like a scream in the void, empty and ultimately meaningless. I would seriously help you right now, but like, I don't wanna, you know?
You were kidding. This is worse than we thought. She's being horrible to every pony.
Are you sure that's even Fluttershy?
Maybe it's just 3 really, really fast ponies that really, really look like her. Let's find it.
Hey, Fluttershy, are you running the shop or performing in a one-pony show?
If you don't mind, I can only approve the taste of one customer at a time. Which isn't even in the town.
We came here because we were worried and we care about you.
Let's get out of this aura of positivity before it consumes us. As fun as this Fluttershy switcheroo game is, Smokey Jr. and Sunburst are really concerned.
Yeah, they came all the way to Ponyville to get us.
They should have, stayed there. This shop is like a no rodent zone. She called them rodents?
Fluttershy, I understand why you think you have to act this way for these customers, but there's gotta be a better way.
Goodness, you are so right. Please, step this way so that we may discuss your concerns.
I knew you'd try to your senses. It's Trick, I know it. So smart. That's why we leave you at home.
What was that? I missed it.
Yes, being sassy.
I'd like to point out how difficult what Andrea is doing in this episode is. To be in character doing a character is really, really hard. And
then she did it 3 times.
Yeah.
But you know what made it great was that you guys you kind of set the tone for those characters, and then I could play off whatever you guys came up with, so I didn't have to really create it all on my own. So that was really helpful.
You crushed it.
Which one did you enjoy portraying the most, Andrea?
The upspeak,
The hipster one?
Yeah, the hipster.
Oh, a centerpiece of my collection and it's still not right. Oh, darling, I'm afraid we've literally run out of time.
I am in this episode. You look great. Thanks.
I don't understand. When I left Fluttershy, she had everything well in hand.
Well, things might have seemed alright when you left, but they're definitely not alright now.
She's acting worse than the worst Manhattanite I ever saw.
She kicked us out of the shop. She called Smokey Jr. and Sunburst rodents. Rodents? I've been using that from the start. She obviously needs help. Come on! Your melancholy is way too shallow for a look with this much unfeeling depth. Why are they back?
Because it's bad writing.
Turn away. Don't even look at it, okay?
I can't even. No.
Not, dear. This is all far too fashion forward for the likes of you.
Never.
Told you it was bad.
Bad? This is worse than I could have possibly imagined. Rarity, I'm so glad you're here. Upon you understand that the couture in this shop is far too brilliant to even consider selling. What? Totally get how lame customers are. Watching them leave filled me with a sweet sadness. And you'll be pleased to hear that I've taken care of your rodent situation.
Stop saying that!
It! Fluttershy, I'm afraid you've left me no choice. You are terminated. Good luck replacing me. Well, thankfully I'm You are terminated too. Whatever. Now actually, you're like totally terminated as well. Like, okay. That's over. An apology. You think I got so caught up trying to please all of your customers that
What customers?
might have taken my sales pony characters a little too far. Sorry, your feelings. I guess acting like the ponies of Saddle Row gave me the confidence to interact with them.
Darling, I never trust some horrible Saddle Row pony to run my shop. That's why I wanted a friend to do it.
Well, I'd definitely rather be myself anyway, even if I don't exactly have what it takes to be a shop pony.
I wouldn't sell yourself short. Those sales pony characters all came from you.
Yeah, I think you totally have what it takes.
Maybe a little too much.
You have all the inner strength you need,
But I think we prefer it coming from our sweet, regular Fluttershy. And that's just giving me the inspiration I'm looking for. And last one, there. The missing piece for my new collection. The Wonder Inner Strength.
Oh, it's lovely! I'm just sorry you had to leave the Canterlot Royal Fashion Show early.
Oh, darling, making the perfect dress is scant more satisfying than showing it off. Oh,
Striking dress, Rory. I certainly hope you aren't trying to undercut the Royal Fashion Show by ducking out and debuting it here.
What? No, have you considered the possibility that the Royal Fashion Show is trying to undercut rarities by continuing on in Canterlot and not moving the whole affair here? Have you? No.
just as I thought.
Oh, inner strength.
So you know the meme about Applejack drank cider, learned nothing? I think this is Fluttershy's equivalent, just a little bit there. That will conclude our guest of honor panel for Friday. Thank you very much for coming.